How is it different than people who find out that they've had siblings that died through miscarriage? Because I feel like that's the obvious thing that people would compare it to. Have you ever done any research into that area?
Yes, actually, there's a really fascinating study that was probably the core of my research paper, my capstone project. It's Dr. Ney. I think it's from UBC in Canada, and it was around 2010 that he was studying the impact of pregnancy loss, different types of pregnancy loss on surviving siblings, is what I call us, people whose siblings preceded in death in by abortion. And he found there was a significant difference, actually, like statistically significant difference between those who had a sibling who died by abortion and those who died by miscarriage. And he kind of illustrates it with an anecdote, which I usually share whenever I give my presentations. The anecdote goes like this: there's a family on a beachside, cliffside, beautiful sunset, family of four, two parents and two kids. And a miscarriage is like one child falls off the cliffside and dies by accident. And the surviving child is kind of able to cope with life and feel sad for their sibling. Of course, there's a sadness and a grief, and not to negate that at all. However, there's a ability to move forward with life because they know that it was an accident. Whereas in the case of abortion, that cliffside family picturesque image is more like the parents kind of whisper behind the kid's back, which one should we keep? We can only afford one, and they push one of the children off the cliffside. And so the surviving child can kind of, like, even if they didn't witness it, they hear it and they know it, something innately they know that it was not an accident, that it was on purpose. And so there's these feelings of distrust. There can be feelings of fear, and survivor's guilt, and more difficulty to move. I don't think it's impossible. Dr. Ney kind of says that um, it seems like it's impossible for siblings to move on. I can't believe that as a Catholic. But yeah, it does seem that it's much harder for sibling survivors of abortion to move forward and find meaningful relationships or having meaning in their lives, just because because of the intentionality that's behind it. Um, so yeah, there is a significant difference. Although when I give my presentations, there's a lot of people who I find that they become more pro-life when they think about it in the terms of miscarriage. Like, I know women who've told me I wasn't even that pro-life until I had a miscarriage.
Mm.
And people whose siblings died by miscarriage, they kind of say the same thing, like, "Oh, you talking about your sibling in such concrete ways makes me realize that, oh, I really did lose a sibling, and that make like I feel like I have a loss of someone that I could have known and loved, and like someone who would have looked at like me or had hobbies like me." Um, so I don't negate that kind of experience or even the like kind of intellectual or emotional connection that people have to the experience either.
Oh, yeah, definitely not at all. It's still a loss of a person. It's just I was just wondering how it is different because I think that, like you were saying, in the secular world, or people say abortion doesn't affect anybody, that would be how they'd rationalize it by saying, "Oh, it's just like a miscarriage," if they even go down that road at all.